Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indianapolis, Indiana. Speedway, Indiana, actually. It is the Battle of the Bricks this weekend. Time to go racing with the Flat 6 Porsches. Hello everybody and welcome along. It's good to have your company, John Hindorf and the rest of the team, being Peter Mackay. Good to have your company as we are ready for Porsche Carrera Cup North America. TireRack.com, battle on the bricks. First of two races this weekend as we come to the end of what has been a fast Friday. A track that, well, even though it's the road circuit and not looking at the 2.5 mile oval, still is very, very famous indeed. 2.4 miles, 3.9 kilometers and 14 corners. Now don't get spooked, we run the wrong way down the front straight to what they do in the 500, but of course the Indy cars run this way as well. Action areas down at turn 1, then it's the twisty bit onto Holman Boulevard between 6 and 7 as we head up into more twisties through 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The most important turn on the circuit, all the drivers will tell you, corner on the circuit, is turn 14. It leads back onto the front straight. Absolutely incredible piece of design in the middle of one of the most famous circuits in the world. Peter Mackay is with me in our global broadcast centre. Peter, amazing that they've done what they've done here. We've got a stacked grid of 26 cars in Pro-Am and Masters. Championships not yet settled in any of them, although Riley Dickinson might feel he's closer than most to a championship for 2025.
He's closer than some, but Ryan Yardley is right on his heels, just 2 points behind after the last round, and so it is game on with 3 race weekends still to go. So there is still a lot of points left on the table here in Indianapolis. Then we go to Motul Petit Le Mans in just a few weeks' time and close off a week later at the Circuit of the Americas, where we share with Formula One. So there is a lot of points left on the table, and like I say, just 2 points between Dickinson and Yardley, and it's been back and forth all season. They've got to that points total quite differently, I would say. Dickinson probably more raw pace and more wins. He's definitely had more wins, but Yardley has only been off the podium once, and that's the way that he's done his season.
Let's have a quick look at our Porsche Carrera Cup North America grid rundown. This is our 5th year as Carrera Cup. Of course, we had Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge before then. They're following the 911 992 Race Brew safety car for a 40-minute contest. Safety car lights are already out as the Porsche Carrera Cup North America with Yokohama is ready to go racing. 26 cars, that's 13 rows on the grid. They line up as they're qualified, so that does mean that we've mixed up the classes a little bit. On row 13 then on the outside, Michael Oriyama on the NOLA Sport Masters number 23 has Brady Behrman in the Van der Steur Racing number 28. That's the Pro-Am car alongside. 1 row further ahead, the 84 is Marco Cironi, rather further back than he would like in the Pro-Am category, with Richard Edge in the Masters category, 3rd position for company. 22nd in Pro-Am, Patrick Mulcahy in the GMG Racing number 54, with Chris Palomo, who is still the Masters lap record holder round here, I believe. Or should I say in front of those, it's James Sofronas with GMG Racing's number 14. Scott Blind in the 45. Then it's JP Martinez in Pro-Am, alongside him Wesley Slimp. Then Michael McCann and John Chaudouin. Alan Metney, Maddie Stewart, Sabra Cook and Paul Bacuse. Michael de Quesada in 10th position on the outside of row 5 with Jared Thomas, again, slightly further down than he would have liked as well for the JTR machine. Yves Baltas and Matthias Leist for Nola Sport. Top 3 rows. Jimmy Lieber for ACI Motorsports. Top Racing's Tyler Maxson, not the best rookie, although he's in 5th. Riley Dickinson, runaway championship leader for a while, but now fighting for that lead, is on the outside of row 2 for Kelly Moss, with Zach Vanier alongside him in the number 9 car. Ryan Yardley, Top Racing on the front row, and Aaron Johnson takes pole position by a decent margin for Kelly Moss and is the best rookie. So that's how they line up. Now we have 40 minutes on the clock. The green flag is in the air and we are racing. Nice clean start, nobody breaking ranks over the start line as the clock counts down. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the track as the number 24 of Aaron Johnson for Kelly Moss. Doesn't have a lot of experience in this category of racing, but he's cut his teeth in MX5. He knows about close quarters racing on the grass. The 77 of Tyler Maxson there for a moment, but he kept his foot in. Up the inside, Ryan Yardley, this is really important. And through goes Zach Vanier in the red and white car to the lead from the second row of the grid. And this is massive, side by side behind him as they run down Holman Boulevard towards turn number 7. Up the inside for the number 24, Aaron Johnson in that black car, holds on. The white car leads, it's Zachary Vanier, and there's a Schmozzle further back, and someone's gone a long way off into 1, 2, 3 cars I count that have got off onto the green stuff, the immaculately kept green grass. Certainly in there is James Sofronas in the Pro-Am 3rd place car as it started, and we've gone full course yellow unsurprisingly early on, Peter. And it's JP Martinez. This is massive for the championship. ACI Motorsports, he's managed to miss the first line of the tyres and he's in there, he's moving, he's talking to the AMR safety team, but this is big for the championship.
That's huge for the Pro-Am Championship, the Solarius Aviation Pro-Am Championship, because that gives an opportunity for Alan Metney to get that gap down. At the moment, the gap is to 35 points, but for Metney right now, he is leading in category, so this would close the Pro-Am class up really, really tightly. Very strange one there for Martinez.
I think Madeline Stewart was involved as well in the number 8 car. Wow, Martinez just went straight on there. Now, whether he was trying to avoid somebody or what, we have seen incidents at this corner before, and indeed Sabra Cook had a season-ending incident here in years past. Not her doing at all. The problem is now, Peter, that Classic.com supported number 4 car, the black machine, is wedged between part of the tyre bundles and the concrete wall. It's fortunate that there was just enough room for JP Martinez to jump out. Now, also involved, Maddie Stewart was involved in the number 82, and Michael McCann in the red number 8 as well. The McCann racing car, that's got damage. So at least 3 cars who aren't going anywhere at turn 7. Solaris US Aviation sponsoring 2 of our classes, partnering up with us, and my goodness me, Peter, that is not the start that anybody, and I'm still not entirely certain, particularly what happened to JP. It was the usual midfield argy-bargy, but JP just went off at unabated speed.
Yeah, I wonder, could it be a stuck throttle or something like that? Let's hope not, because that's scary. It's good to see JP Martinez walking away from that one, because that was a quick entry there for him. And it's quite normal to get that kind of schmozzle in those opening corners. Through turn 1, 2 and 3, it's very, very tight through there, and 4, 5 and 6, same thing again. So yeah, it's when you're putting so many cars through a very narrow piece of racetrack, that's it's always a risk. 26 cars on the grid, as you alluded to, and unfortunately Maddie Stewart is one of those cars that's come off worst, and she's not had that much luck this season. Got involved in the big one at Watkins Glen that we had, of course.
Yes, that was a huge impact. You know, if you take anything positive out of that, and damaged cars, you never want to see. But that was about one of the biggest incidents you could possibly see in the Inter Championship here for Porsche Carrera Cup North America with Yokohama, and everybody walked away. Now the cars were damaged, but now Michael McCann and Madeline Stewart having a little bit of a chat there. They'll go back to a different type of Porsche to take them back to the grid. But that, I think that's just what happened to you, because I got sideswiped. No, I think I did as well. I'm not sure how that happened. I don't see the conversation that is going on between Madeline Stewart and Michael McCann at all as being anything other than quite friendly at the moment. They are going to have to share the back of the Cayenne and the AMR safety vehicle to get them back to the paddock.
Madeline, normally she's smiling at every possible opportunity. I've never seen her look as stern as that before, which is understandable in the circumstances. Race over after 2 corners, and this is a home race of sorts for her, because although she's from down under, she lives out here now, so in Indianapolis. So this is a home race, as it is for quite a few drivers in the paddock. It is very much the centre of one of the centres of racing in the United States.
Well, yeah, Sabre Cook is at home this weekend, and I still, so JP just goes off on his own, and then what happens behind is, well, certainly Michael McCann, the red car, watch out for the red car. He got a tap early on. He got a tap early on for someone else who we haven't even seen. James Sofronas in the GMG car came round on the grass. And I think that's what Michael was saying to Madeline. I'm really sorry, but somebody absolutely shunted me from behind. And I think I'm seeing, now is that Sofronas' car behind the wall? No, I'm not sure that it is. There's quite a lot of, oh no, actually, they're coming.
Well, it can't be, Sofronas is running. So
yeah, I just saw a GMG car going through, but actually, those are the cars behind the wall to the driver's right of the racetrack, Peter. Those are the cars who've just finished the Michelin Pilot Challenge free practice session, who are going back. So that's what threw me out a little bit. So Sofronas is still running, but who was the other car involved? And I honestly don't know. Alan Metney's come in the pits from behind the safety car, from second in Pro-Am. While we try to work this out, here's how they run. I should give you that, because there was some overtaking going on. So Zach Vanier got ahead. We documented that from the brilliant pole-sitting Aaron Johnson, who remains in second and the best rookie by a margin. Ryan Yardley, championship contender, but Riley Dickinson now right on the tail of his major championship protagonist and contender. Yves Baltas for ACI leads his teammate Jimmy Libre in 5th and 6th in the 15 and 2. Then Tyler Maxson is the next of the rookies for Top Racing, the number 77. Jared Thomas in the 96 is 8th. 9th is Matthias Leist, and Michael Di Casada for Allegra Motorsports into 10th. These are all Pro Class cars. Paul Bocuse for JDX, and then his teammate Sabre Cook in 11th and 12th. Jean Jaudoin, another one of the rookies, in 13th. That's the profile. Pro-Am, Patrick Mulcahy in the GMG number 54 now leads from Scott Blind, who's the Ruckus Racing driver, and the number 45 is the whole field behind. Safety car comes through, and Scott leads the Masters. Second in Pro-Am is Marco Cerrone, who's come through the carnage. Second in Masters is Chris Belomo, ahead of Richard Edge and Michael Oriyama. Third in Pro-Am, Randy Behrman, ahead of James Sofronas and Alan Metney in the pits. I wonder if Alan Metney then was involved in that first incident, because he was right up amongst some of the Pro and Pro-Am runners. We haven't seen that car in the pit lane, but if it has front-end damage and he's damaged some radiators, I'm going to say he might have been involved. I don't know yet. It is under review, that incident. Multiple cars say race control. They've got a bit of sorting out.
And Alan Metney's not going to come into the pits for the good of his health. There's enough of a coincidence there. As Metney's back on the move again, which is good to see, so he will rejoin the race. So he has opportunity to make.
Oh, it's the back end of his car
again.
Back left of his car that's taken the whack. The whole of the rear clip on the left-hand side, it looks like it's been bitten by a great white. So the guys at Kelly Moss have basically pulled that off. I think he got out just now. Did he run the red light at the end of pit lane? That would have been close. That would have been very, very close. But he's got out, I believe, on the tail end of the lead lap. So it isn't all over. 82 and 39 are the numbers that I'm hearing. So that's Matty Stewart. And the 30...
Maybe 99.
I think that should be 99. Yeah. I don't think we have a 39. That's why I sort of stuttered.
John Dwayne is number 39.
Oh, sorry,
Maybe
Jean Chaudoin. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So was it John there, Jean Chaudoin, who hit the back of somebody? But there was certainly a catalyst in the middle of the field there. Alan Metney, unless he reversed into someone, couldn't have started it. Wow.
Well, it does. It's good news for Alan Metney. Great work from the Kelly Moss team to get the car checked over and back out again. Yes, he will lose his class-leading position, but has an opportunity to move up and get some points. With Martinez definitely scoring 0, he's on his way back to the paddock already. That is huge in the Solaris Aviation Pro-Am class.
Yeah. And I'm just also being looked at is Zach Vanier and Aaron Johnson. That must have been for the lead. So was there a little bit of hip and shoulder there as well? We're still behind our immaculately liveried Race Brew safety car.
Yeah, Aaron Johnson, his first Race Brew pole position, but
by some margin, Peter, that was a heck of a qualifying for him.
Yeah, by a couple of tenths, which doesn't sound much, but on a minute 25 lap in these cars, that is a reasonable margin. But Zach Vanier, he's been so good on the race starts this year, and he's always gained positions early on. That's exactly what he's done here. He may well be under investigation for passing outside of the track, because there is a lot of tarmac runoff here, and it was pretty busy at that start. So that might be what they're investigating. I'm not saying that he has, but that might be what they're just taking a look at.
Yeah, fair point, well made. Hello to James O'Donnell at IMSA Radio, by the way, if you want to get in touch with us here in the Global Broadcast Centre. The race time continues to run. So this is what is called a time certain race. So we started with 40 minutes on the clock. We've had coming up to 13 minutes. And even with my basic arithmetic, I can tell you there's 27 minutes to go, only because it's on the top left of the screen, in fairness. Let's take a look at some of the class leaders in Pro-Am. Patrick Mulcahy in the number 54 GMG racing car. 45, Scott Blind in the Ruckus. You cannot miss either of those two. They're one behind the other. The Ruckus car is purple and highlighter yellow. And one car ahead is the Pro-Am leader, and that is Patrick, and that is a light coloured car as well. Over 35s for Pro-Am, a little bit more experience of life if you want to be in the Masters. Now, you don't have to. If you're a Masters aged or even a Pro-Am aged driver and you want to race with the pros, that's fine. But if you're a young gun looking to make their way as a motorsport professional, you can't drop back into Pro-Am or Masters. There have been drivers in the past who've decided, I want to race in Pro-Am rather than Masters or Pro rather than Pro-Am. So that's Patrick making his way around in the juice head machine, first in Pro-Am.
They've got the right colours for classic Porsche livery.
Oh yeah.
With the black, yellow and white. That's the Newman jeans US 956 throwback. Actually, when I was in Chile at the weekend, a country where Porsche are making sustainable fuel.
That's right.
And there was a Newman shop. I've never seen a Newman jeans shop.
And had you not been doing World Rally Championship, you probably would have been sitting down watching first the Nürburgring Langstrecke Series on Saturday and Sunday, where Porsches were first and second on Saturday and third and fourth on Sunday. Second and third on Sunday. But also at Suzuka, there was a Newman Porsche running.
That's right. Yes, with
they did rather well.
Lawrence Vantor and Kevin Estra in it.
Yeah.
They had quite a few throwback liveries for the weekend, which was really cool to see. I think that's entirely by design, because die-cast model sales in Japan are a big market. So I think they've got that. That's maybe the cynic in me.
No, I like it. The Race Brew safety car lights are out as they come through the long sweepers through towards turn 11. That was turn 8, 9, 10, and now 11. So they now run up back onto the speedway and run backwards from turn 2 to turn 1, or at least they will do in a moment. They're just coming down to turn 7, the scene of the incident, where all of the tyre stacks have been replaced. Multiple tyre stacks. I know it doesn't look high-tech, but there's still very little that dissipates energy better than bundled tyres. It's the case, yeah. There's Tech Pro and various other things. Safer barriers, of course, are put in front of hard concrete at the edges of racetracks, and particularly on ovals. But in terms of slowing down 1,300 kilos of Porsche Carrera Cup car, multiple layers of banded tyres are pretty impressive. Okay. Zach Vanier in the white with the red. Aaron Johnson sitting right in behind him. Johnson starting on pole position, got a decent start in the black coloured car. Ryan Yardley, championship contender in the black and yellow, in the white with green. Kelly Moscar led the championship for the whole season. Now in a real fight, a dog fight to the end. Great getaway from Zach Vanier. Nailed it exactly the right time. Here comes Yardley down the inside in the number 78. Goes to driver's right. He will have the inside line into the first corner. Watch out for that green and white number 91 trying to pick up any pieces, but he's under pressure down the inside. Here comes Yves Boltas. That was a bold manoeuvre in the more green car. And Riley Dickinson's rather been caught out there. Jimmy Libra in the black and red car as well. And this is disaster for the man who has bossed this championship. He's been shuffled down 1, possibly 2 positions. Gets a little nudge. Has to go over the curbs there as they go through turns 5 and 6. And onto Holman Boulevard again on the restart. Everyone else has got through. Riley Dickinson having to fight for his life. He's down into 4th. Check that, he's down into 5th, he might even be going into 6th, and he still hasn't managed to hold on to that position. At the front, Zach Vanier got away perfectly, Peter.
Dickinson just holding off Boltas there. Got a great exit coming out of turn 6 as Maxon goes through on Jared Thomas. They're battling over 8th position at the moment, also with the Nola Sport car there of Matthias Leist, who's just gone through. So it's all arms and elbows at the moment. It's almost like a Mazda MX-5 Cup race where many of these drivers have come through, as well as, off goes Boltas. Boltas off, as is Matthias Leist, almost instantaneously. Both of them at the same time on different parts of the racetrack.
That was between 12 and 13 as they're coming back onto the main part of the circuit. Or was that turn 1, excuse me? No, it was 12 and 13. Go with your first instinct, high enough. Now, can Matthias Leist get that car refired? Close quarters weight racing, we've been used to that down through the years in Carrera Cup North America and its predecessor. Now these Yokohama tyres have not had to do very much work as we go full course yellow again. I was just about to say there'll be plenty of performance in these cars And I think Least's got going again, but this is going to be for Yves Baltas in the ACI Motorsports Pro car, the green, white and black car. And he was looking very, very racy. But now he's into the tyre barriers, and that will be more work for track services and our ACI crew. The four-way flashes come on when the car has suffered an impact or had a problem. Yves is not happy. I am going to say that Yves is not happy. Great design on the race suit, the red, white and black of ACI. Oh, he's having a look at the back. These cars have to race again fairly early tomorrow, Peter. They haven't got a huge amount of time to get these cars turned around. I suspect there'll be some fairly late nights tonight. They are back tomorrow to do their second race. Now, Least goes wide after getting a clip and then spins, and thank goodness he didn't go back in. Also going off was Yves Baltas, who basically went off in sympathy. So who was it who gave him a clip? Blue and white car further up the field.
It's Tyler Maxson.
I think it's Maxson. But Maxson was getting pushed by Jared Thomas. Sort that one out in race control.
There was contact between Baltas as he got up over the curb. Just the car got a little bit loose, and Jimmy Libra was right behind him. So it's hard to say whether Jimmy, hit him and that was what sent him off the road, or whether that little moment when the rear got loose and that then checked Jimmy into the back of Yves Baltas and sent him around. It's very hard to say. We'd need to speak to the drivers to get the absolute read on that. But it's a shame for Yves Baltas because he was fighting there right. Oh, well, Yves Baltas definitely feels like it was Jimmy Libra's fault, judging by the body language before jumping into the AMR Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah, basically saying you have to use a little more of your brain power. Now we will see what race control make of that. Matthias Least and Tyler Maxson, as you rightly said, the top racing car, and they were well up, they were well inside the top 10. Least has rejoined in the Nolan Sport yellow and white car, down in 21st and 12th in class. So as it stands, Zach Vanier still leads from Ryan Yardley, Aaron Johnson, Riley Dickinson not getting the best of the restart, drops down to 4th with Jimmy Libre in 5th, Tyler Maxson now in 6th, and the second best of the rookies, best rookie being Aaron Johnson of course, Jared Thomas in 6th in the red and white number 96, Michael Di Casada for Allegra in 8th, Jared Thomas in 7th should I say, Michael Di Casada in 8th, Paul McKees in 9th, Saban Cook cracks the top 10, and then Patrick Mulcahy, wow, that's a good run for him. 11th is the best of the Pro-Am. Scott Blind, 12th, the best of the Masters. Marco Cironi, 2nd in Pro-Am. Then Wesley Slim, then James Sofronas, 3rd at the moment on the Pro-Am podium. Chris Palomo on the Masters podium in 2nd, as is Michael Oriyama in the number 23 Nola Sport car on the Masters podium. There's points to be had here, Peter. 17 minutes to go, and there is absolutely points to be had here. Now, Jimmy Liebler being looked at the moment for the contact with that green and white. Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes,
no.
yes. No wonder Jimmy was not happy. Now, Jimmy had gone across the curb and cut across.
Yves wasn't happy.
No wonder Yves wasn't happy, yeah. The only thing I'll say in Jimmy Liebler's defence is that even being over to the full left-hand side on the curb and was coming aggressively back across to take the racing line for the next corner, a left-hander, so reasonably he was going to the right. But I think there was front-away contact there between Jimmy and Yves Baltas. But it's not for me to make that decision.
Well, certainly that was how Yves Bottas read that situation. We
I
know
think
that
so.
for certain. I'm no body language expert, but it was clear. the index finger jabbing the head, saying, "What were you thinking?" I think was
I think race
roughly
control,
how it translates.
I really hope race control don't have early dinner reservations tonight. They might be busy for a wee while this evening. James Sofronas in the fabulous livery of red, white and blue. Sofronas up into third in Pro-Am as the recovery goes on. So the Nola Sport car already got a little bit of a ding, but it's further up the road, and it's the green and the red, white and black car. And no, Yves not happy. Yves, he's not happy. And you know what makes that worse?
That they're run out the same awning.
They are both ACI drivers. Now, this is not as if they were Porsche Penske Motorsport teammates running two cars in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. So I understand this is like any single driver category. Each driver races for themselves. That is going to make for a tricky debrief though, isn't it, Peter?
It is, yes. And it's a tricky position because every driver, makes their own deal, their own arrangement with the team, and the team prepare and run the cars. But there is, of course, a team's championship to consider, which at the moment, Top Racing are leading by 11 points over Kelly Moss. Now, Kelly Moss have been the kind of benchmark team since the inception of this championship, and long before as well, you might add.
Yeah.
But so for Top Racing, for ACI, etc., for them to topple a Kelly Moss, that's a big boast to be able to do that. So, for example, at the front of the field at the moment, we've got Zach Vanier, who's driving with JDX. Top Racing's they are running Ryan Yardley and Tyler Maxson. Then you've got two Kelly Moss cars in there with Johnson and Dickinson. So they've all got horses in the race up the front.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot going on, I would say, in that overall dynamic.
Yes, I think there might need to be some diplomacy. This team, very ACI, very experienced indeed. Right. That might just be the end of a very lovely friendship between those two. Or will it endure? Perhaps we'll find that out later in the weekend. Now, the lights are out on the Race Brew safety car. Indeed, it has cleared off back into the pit lane on the outside, the right-hand side of turn number 13, which leaves the field once again under the control of the leading car. This time it's JDX Racing's Zach Vanier. Now, will Ryan Yardley be able to get the advantage? It's a long run down to turn one, and watch Aaron Johnson as well in third place. So Vanier from Ryan Yardley, from Aaron Johnson and Riley Dickinson. Riley needs to make a move, and immediately he tucks into another lane, and it's Johnson who has been pushed. There's four cars coming down the inside, and the leader has to block the inside as through comes Ryan Yardley around the outside. He can't make that work. Riley Dickinson cuts back to the left-hand side, the outside of turn one, which is the inside of turn two. Makes up a position for a moment, but then has to drop back into fourth position in the white and green car. Still sitting in behind Aaron Johnson. What a run this is by the rookie Johnson, by the way. It takes pole position and is mixing it with some very experienced Porsche Carrera Cup North America by Yokohama drivers. But it is the white, black and red car of Zach Vanier, and JDX Racing still defending. Does he need to? I'm not sure he needed to there. He was defending fresh air going into turn 7, with Ryan Yardley not really in a passing position. Aaron Johnson with a bit of breathing space. Riley Dickinson with a couple of cars lengths back to that was Jared Thomas, who's made up at least a couple of places on the restart, because he's now through into 5th position, and I reckon he was across the line in 6th or 7th on the restart. Good restart, and still they come down the inside. That black number 71 still having a little look to try and make the manoeuvre. Can't make it stick, gets a little touch for their purposes there, and that was Paul Bocuse in the JDX racing car with the number 2 of Jimmy Libra, who's dropped back a little bit, not being the best restart for Jimmy, but across the line, JDX from top from 2 Kelly Moss racing car, Vanier, Ryan Yardley, Aaron Johnson and Riley Dickinson, your top 4, Peter.
Yeah, Jimmy Libra got a little bit roughed up by Tyler Maxon. He's trying to fight back now on Bocuse and does so at turn 1 as they're side by side going through into turn 2 as well. Libra really having to get his elbows out here. You got a little bit of a tap from Maxon and that got him wide. Maxon went through and it just lost all of the momentum. These are momentum cars. You've got to be so precise and so perfect at every corner because everybody's got the same starting equipment, so if you make a little mistake, you'll just get steamrolling because there's so many good drivers in the front of the field, so it's bound to happen.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Libra was getting a little bit frustrated there on the back of Tyler Maxon and Paul Bocuse, excuse me, just having a little look there. Jimmy in the black and red car, and that was just a little glove tap to say, look, I'm here, don't hold me up. But they are both in the same class, so that's absolutely all fair. The top 10 with Sabra Cook still in 10th position are all the pro class cars. It's the number 51 GMG of Patrick Mulcahy in 11th, and he leads Pro-Am. Scott Blind leads Masters. My goodness me, this is going to turn things around in some of the other classes. In fact, right now we will see a change in the championship lead as well, won't we, Peter, in the pro category if it stays like this?
We will, yes, in the ExxonMobil Pro class, if it finished the way it is, and that is the biggest if in Indianapolis, as Bocuse goes a little bit wide and Sabra Cook's going to try and have a little go into turn 1. This is your battle over 9th position. Good run from Sabra so far. Also, I think this is one of the strongest runs we've seen from Paul Bocuse as well. He's only a teenager still, and very much preparing part of a 2-year program to go for a tilt at the title next year, trying to learn the circuits, learn the cars as well, because they are unique machines. They're different to what a lot of these drivers have driven in the past before stepping up into this category.
Well, even people who drive other Porsches, as Bocuse comes down, that's the 54 of Patrick Mulcahy. And this is a great run for the man who leads Pro-Am up into the top 10 now. Sabra Cook with a little bit of damage to the right rear of her JDX racing car. They are teammates, and she's giving him a flash saying, look, I don't need you to be in the way. I want another class position. And I think he's taken the hint there as they go through into turn 12, dropping off the short chute between turn 2 and 1, and I say it that way deliberately. Now coming back onto the front straight, going the wrong way, of course, to the yard of bricks and down towards our turn 1, which is Speedway turn 4. They don't quite get that far. We are going to have to do a bit of arithmetic here. 10 seconds post-race penalty for Paul Bocuse for JDX. That was for the contact with Michael Di Casada, so that's come from race control, and other incidents being reviewed post-session, including Jimmy Libra, 2 for Jimmy Libra, and also 2 for the number 47 of Matthias Leist, although I believe he was the victim in at least one of those. But the major one there is Paul Bocuse. He's going to drop 10 seconds, and 10 seconds in this will take him way out the top 10.
It will, because we've had so many safety cars, the field hasn't really stretched out, so a penalty like that is way more punishing than it otherwise would be. So yeah, that's a shame for Paul Bocuse, because he was in to get a good result there, but Sabra Cook fighting on as well. That will put her up to 8th position when on corrected time. Meanwhile, the shall we say provisional championship leader Ryan Yardley right on the case of Zachary Vanier. Johnson holding on to 3rd, Dickinson in 4th, and Dickinson, he needs change in momentum. He needs a result, actually, I would say. Yes, he's a championship leader. That sounds a strange thing to say, but he made such a rocking start to the season. I remember us chatting at Sebring, John, thinking, Oh, this is going to be a fairly predictable,
Yeah.
Riley Dickinson benefit, but it has not turned out that way at all.
No, and it's amazing, isn't it, how the momentum can change coming into the clutch part of the season, whether it's stick and ball sports or on the motor racing circuits around the world. The big mo, the momentum coming into the end of a league season. And a motor racing season, a championship season, is effectively a league season. Each one of the events is around points scored. You do have to ask yourself who's used tyres, though, because the Yokohama tyres, Peter, are not an infinite resource here. There is an amount you're allowed, and is Riley Dickinson hanging on to a set of tyres for tomorrow, perhaps when he has a better starting position? The qualifying was earlier on today, and remember, your best lap gives you your grid position for this race, your second best for the race tomorrow at, 10:45-ish in the morning, Eastern summertime here in America. Remember, Indianapolis, despite the fact it's slightly west of Chicago, is still on Eastern time. Almost confuses me when I land at Chicago, drive down the road, and have to change my watch forward an hour when I get close to Indianapolis, when I'm coming down the road there.
It's very confusing. Well, tomorrow, Aaron Johnson will start on pole again. His second fastest lap was a quarter of a second quicker than the next best driver's fastest lap, who was Ryan Yardley.
And where's Riley Dickinson then? Fourth again, right.
So he's going to need those shiny new tyres if he's got them in his allocation.
Of course.
If he's got them on his tyre rack.
Yeah, very good. I see what you did there for the TyreRack.com Battle of the Bricks weekend. Very good, Peter Mackay. Of course, if anybody goes quicker in this race than their second best allowable time in qualifying, that would then become their qualifying time. Riley Dickinson saving some tyre wear through turn number 5 and 6, because I reckon that was Air Riley there. There was no Yokohama rubber being used at all. None was being worn at that point in the circuit whatsoever by the Kelly Moss driver, Peter.
He's been watching too many videos of the 992 Rally GT cars that are out there, yes, which are jumping all the time, and of course you'll just get that, it'll just pop into the limiter as you go over that little jump as well. So he's certainly not coasting. He's desperately trying to make a move on his Kelly Moss stablemate, if you like, Aaron Johnson in third place, whereas Johnson, he's out of the contention, you have to say, for the overall championship, but he's very, very closely locked in with Tyler Maxson in the battle for the Rookies Championship. There's only 2 points between them. So actually, Johnson would go back into the lead of that championship if they finish the way they are now. Yeah,
and Jared Thomas is doing Aaron Johnson solid at the moment by being ahead of Tyler Maxson. Jared Thomas in the red and white JTR Motorsports number 96 with that classic chevron red and white colour wear that we've seen on so many Porsches down through the years. He's second best rookie. Tyler Maxson only third in the classes. Still at the moment, Patrick Mulcahy in 11th position, leads Pro-Am, but he's got James Sofronas just hoving into view, and Sofronas has done his fastest lap last time around. It's 1.1 seconds for that blue-fronted car. Then Matthias Least coming through for Nola Sport. Least will be absolutely on the limiter, because he got at least a couple of bumps and bruises, and he's fighting his way back. He was well inside the top 10. There he goes down the inside in the Nola Sport grey, black, yellow and white number 47. That's fine. So Fronas now needs to get on the back of Least. He's not battling that car, it's the one ahead. And if you notice there, the left-hand indicator came on from the number 47 as he was going through, because he flashed both his indicators to say thank you for letting me through. That was a really nice move, and respectful driving from two drivers in different classes there, Peter.
Yeah, that's right. They have to coexist on track, but they effectively are not racing one another. So if they can help one another by not knocking lumps out of each other, it's mutually beneficial. And Matthias Least is showing some great pace here, fighting back after that issue earlier on. And he'll be definitely buoyed by that. It's been a tricky season for him. We know his credentials, former IndyCar driver, of course, and he's driven in DPI in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. So, you know, he's definitely got the credentials, but it just hasn't quite clicked for him yet. But he's showing good pace here at Indianapolis, which I guess will be certainly the road course will be a circuit that he knows from his IndyCar days.
What I would say, Peter, is I'm not sure how much Porsche experience Matej has had before he came here. And these cars, I'll go back to say it again, you and I have talked about Porsche's racing as we get the white flag for the leader, Zachary Vanier, so he's got just under 2.5 miles to go. You and I have talked about Carrera Cup and Super Cup and GT3 Cup Challenge on various different continents around the world. I've seen all kinds of drivers coming in as guests, doing part seasons, and stepping into one of these cars in your first season, doing it as a one-off or doing it as your first season. It's not the easiest thing to do. I remember at the great Alain Menu, who had bossed British touring cars in the early to mid-2000s, doing a Carrera Cup GB race and telling me it was the hardest thing he'd ever had to do against people who'd been driving them for a couple of years as well. And that's the other thing. It is a particular skill when you've got it. If you get it, you got it. If you don't have it, you're going to have to work to get it, and some people never get it, if any of that makes any sense. Zach Vanier in the Dobbs Pizza car. Oh, it'll be thin crust with lots of toppings tonight. But is there one last hurrah for Ryan Yardley? Can he throw a breadstick in the spokes of a potential victory for this number 9 JDX racing car? Top Racing in second, Kelly Moss third and fourth. No, it's going to be a first top step finish for Zach Vanier and JDS Racing in 2025. And the number 9 car comes through to win the ExxonMobil class. Fantastic run from him, took the opportunity. Ryan Yardley will, subject to post-race tech, go back to the top, should I say, of the championship in Pro with Aaron Johnson in third overall. He'll go back to the top of the Rookie Championship. All change, ding ding, move down the bus please. Peter.
What a drive from Zachary Vanier. He had to do it again and again because he got the move done in that opening sector on lap 1, but then had to keep doing the restarts, and he just nailed those restarts really, really well. And that's quite a skill that you need to have if you want to go into, if you want to progress up to IMSA WeatherTech Championship. Then that's and you know, to become a Porsche factory driver, you need to be good at those restarts, and that's exactly what he's shown there. And he's racking up the wins at iconic circuits. Of course, one at Watkins Glen back in June. So he's got Watkins Glen, he's got Indianapolis. What else can he add before the end of the season?
Oh, magnificent stuff. And, well, as I say, sponsored by a pizza company, he has delivered the perfect fast Friday for JDX. And the Canadian then, Zach Vanier, ahead of Ryan Yardley and Aaron Johnson in the unofficial result in Pro. Riley Dickinson staying in touch, but will now have to do something he's not done all season. He'll have to play catch-up in the championship. Jared Thomas helps Aaron Johnson by taking points away from Tyler Maxson in the rookies, and Johnson now back at the top of the rookies championship in the Pro. Sabra Cook with a top 10 finish. Patrick Mulcahy in 10th position wins the Pro-Am. Just outside the top 10, the Masters winner is Scott Blind in the number 45, ahead of Michael Oriyama. That's his best finish. Chris Belomo, who is good round here. Richard Edge in 4th. Beyond that, people scrambling, and there were some problems for Jean Jourdouin. Alan Metney pitted. We didn't get to find out what happened with Alan Metney, but that was after the first lap incident, and we did see him come back out, but he did not complete the full lap. And then, well, tale of woe behind that. Yves Boltas, Matty Stewart, Michael McCann, and crucially JP Martinez for ACI Motorsports, championship contender in the Pro-Am, all not getting the trip. The checkered flag held proudly by Zach Vanier for JDX, and that sets up our second race tomorrow in absolutely brilliant style, with all the championships closing up. Don't write the headlines for the 2025 championship, because it's going to go to the very last race, and possibly even, as we've seen before, to the last quarter of the last race. Peter Mackay alongside me, John Hindhaugh, for this one. He'll rejoin me tomorrow. Now let's hope we get a little bit more green flag racing. Can Riley Dickinson snatch back the lead in the championship from Ryan Yardley? And what about Aaron Johnson battling with Tyler Maxson? And then there's the Pro-Am and the Masters as well. Plenty to come back for. We'll do it all tomorrow, live, free, uninterrupted, from Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Porsche Carrera Cup North America. See you tomorrow.